Okay. Start with shading the fractions. So what is this whole thing right here? That's one whole, right?
Yes.
Label it. 1. The next line is 2 equal parts. What do we call those? Halves. So this is 1/2 and this is 1/2. We're just labeling our fraction strips. What's the next one? If it's 3 equal parts, they're called? Go ahead and label. And then next is 4 equal parts is fourths. We're just labeling our unit fractions to begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. Sixths. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts are our eighths. Okay, so what we're going to do is show an equivalent fraction to 2/3. So I want to go up to my fraction strips and shade 2/3. So I'm going to find my thirds and I'm going to shade 2 of them. And I'm not blacking it out, I'm just quickly shading it in so I can see with my eyeballs how much space that takes up. Now our instructions down here say to shade sixths. So I'm going to look at my fractions up here, my fraction strips, and I'm going to find the sixths that match my thirds, my 2/3. So what you can do is you can see with your eyeballs how far it goes. This is the line for 2/3. Do y'all see that? So you just go straight down from it and see, oh my goodness, right there in the sixths, this is the equivalent. So how many sixths do you have to shade to get to 2/3? Brooke? 4 6? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and the last one is 4. So what can we say about our sixths? What's an equivalent fraction in the sixths that is equivalent to 2/3? Jimena? 4 6. So down here we want to partition and show 4 6. So how do we partition these parts? These are in thirds. How are we going to partition it into sixths? What's your suggestion, Jilly? Cut them down more. We need to partition more, don't we? We have 3 equal parts, now we need 6 equal parts. Look at your sixths. I'm going to cover up the rest of my thirds. I'm just looking at my thirds here. Here's 1/3. How many sixths are in 1/3? 2. There is like a line in 2 sixths and 1/3. So there's a line in the middle of the third, which would give me 2 sixths. So I'm going to bring my pencil down. I'm going to partition that third. I'm going to partition, let's see, right here I need to partition this third. And here's 2 more sixths and it's right here. So I'm just going to go like this. It's like taking our thirds and partitioning them into halves. Each third gets a half. So I'm going to partition that third in half, that third in half, and I'm going to do this one too. Here's my last third. It has 2 sixths in it, so I'm going to partition this one. I'm going to pause for a second to see if you understand what I just did. Raise your hand if you do. Oh, hold up. Let's pause. Did I pause it?
No. It's recording. It's still recording.
Alright, let's keep going. Not necessary. So I'm going to shade what's equivalent to 2/3 in my sixths. I can say 1, 2, 3, 4 sixths are the same as 2/3. On our little balance scale at the bottom, that's what we're going to write. 2/3 is equal to how many sixths? 4 sixths. Sheet B, student record sheet B. Okay, it says shade the fractions, shade and partition to show. So if we look down here, we're looking for things that are equivalent to 1/2. Where's the half on our fraction strips, Reagan? It's the second line right here. We've got 1 out of 2 equal parts. Label your unit fractions there. Where's our fourths? Let's see. 3 equal parts, 4 equal parts. Label your fourths. I'm looking right here to see what I need to eyeball. Looking for my fourths. I'm also looking for sixths and eighths. So go ahead and label your sixths and your eighths. If you just want to hold on, I'll give you mine looking. Oh. I wrote my 8 as my numerator. Okay, so the first one says I want to do 1/2 of a whole in fourths. So I need 4 equal parts. Right now I only have 2 equal parts. So if you look up at your fourths and your halves, 1/2 has how many fourths in it? 2. And look at that line. Do you think that line right there in the fourths is about halfway through the halfway? You can take a half and partition it again and you'll have fourths. So I'm just going to eyeball my line down here. I'm going to do it for the same for the second part. Here's my fourths. I'm just going to stretch down, and now I have 4 equal parts. Go ahead and go back up to the fraction strips and shade 1/2 at the top, almost to the top. Now, if you look and you see that this is 1/2, how many fourths would it take to make an equivalent fraction for 1/2? Eliana? 2 fourths. There's 2 right here, and if I shade to that same spot, I have 2 fourths. So down here, 1/2 is equal to 2 fourths. And that's what I'm going to write on my first balance beam. I mean, not balance beam, balance scale. 1/2 is equal to 2 fourths. They shade the same area of the same size hole. Alright, now we've got half here, equivalent to a half. Now let's go to our sixths. If I shaded to the same line to make half, how many sixths would I need? BJ? 3. Go ahead and shade your 3 sixths. And I need to partition my 2 halves into sixths. So look right here. If I look up here, I have 3 sixths in that one same size for the half. I need 2 lines to make 3 sixths. I'm going to just eyeball my line down here. We're not machines, but we're going to do the best we can to partition thirds. And I'm going to do it for the second half as well. Now I have sixths. And I can shade 1, 2, 3 of my sixths to equal a half. We're going to write it on our balance scale. 1/2 is equal to 1, 2, 3 sixths. They shade the same size of the same area of the same size hole.